Hi, in this video we shall know about one of the class of carbohydrates, that is polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are the high molecular weight carbohydrates which yield ultimately monosaccharides on complete hydrolysis. Monosaccharides are linked via glycoacidic bonds to form a long form of polysaccharides. They are also known as polycarbohydrates. They are the important class of biological polymers. Their function in living organisms is usually either structure or storage related. They serve as a energy in a human beings or organisms. Even though these are complex, they provide important dietary elements for human and also provide nutrition for plants via metabolism. These are the examples where the polysaccharides are having, that is fruits, cereals, pulses, corn, sugarcane, lichens. In these things, the polysaccharides is present in a storage form. In beetle, cotton, crab, they are present in a structural form. Polysaccharides contain more than 10 monomer units, that is 100 to 90,000 monosaccharides. They occur widely in nature. Example of polysaccharides are cellulose, starch, insulin, chitin, alpha-heparin and so on. Polysaccharides, as the name implies, are polymerized saccharides. From the macromolecular viewpoint, they may be looked upon as the condensed polymer consisting of monosaccharide residues with the elimination of water molecule. Polysaccharides are the essential constituents of almost all living organisms widely distributed in plant and animal kingdom. Coming to the classification is based on two types. On the basis of type of monosaccharides in the polysaccharide, and other is on the basis of their biological function. Coming to the on the basis of type of monosaccharide, the polysaccharides are classified into homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides means having a same kind of monosaccharide unit, that is the same kind of beta D-glucose. And in heteropolysaccharides, it having different or more than one kind of monosaccharide units, means glucose, fructose, galactose and so on. It may contain different types of monosaccharide units. Polysaccharides may be branched or linear as shown in the figure. And next, on the basis of their biological function. As I said that they are present in the as a structural polysaccharides, means make the structural component of the cell wall and skeleton, that is in the form of that is the polysaccharide in the form of structural polysaccharide is chitin cellulose. Cellulose is present in plants and chitin on the animal cell wall. And next is the storage polysaccharide, stored as a reserve food in the living organism such as starch, glycogen, inulin, etc. And here just I have shown on plant polysaccharides. As in the plant polysaccharide, we divide into homoglycan and heteroglycan. The polysaccharides are said as glycans. Next, here homo means the same kind of monosaccharide repeating units. Hetero means different or more than one type of repeating unit, monosaccharide repeating units. And further, the homoglycans are divided into nitrogenous polymers and neutral polymers and acidic polymers. In nitrogenous polymers, we see glucose amine. In neutral polymers, we see glucans, mannans, galactans, fructans and xylanes. In acidic polymer, we see polygalacturic acid and or we call as pectin, and polymannuronic acid. And coming to the heteroglycans, we see the same type of classification, that is nitrogenous, neutral and acidic polymers. In nitrogenous polymers, mucopolysaccharides and glycoproteins are present. In neutral, hemicellulose, and so on we can come. In acidic, gum, mucilages, seaweeds are seen in these acidic polysaccharides. Next, coming to the structural elucidation of polysaccharides. The structural elucidation includes the following steps or the points. To find out the structure of a polysaccharides, we should follow the identification of these points, that is the nature of the monosaccharide constituting the polysaccharide and their arrangement. Next is whether the monosaccharides are present as pyranose or furanose structure, means the glucose monosaccharide units are present in pyranose or furanose structure. Next is the whether the glycoacidic linkage are alpha, beta or a mixture of two. Next, whether the polysaccharide has a linear or branched structure. The last is the determination of the molecular weight for knowing the approximate total number of monosaccharide units. The structural elucidation includes these points, and these are identified by using the general method. That is, the first is the hydrolysis. The hydrolysis can be done in two ways, that is the acidic hydrolysis or enzymatic hydrolysis. Acidic hydrolysis includes the polysaccharides on hydrolysis with acid converts it into constituent monosaccharides, which may be identified by physical or chromatographic techniques. The techniques which are used I have discussed in the last slides. However, the hydrolysis sometimes gives di, tri and higher oligosaccharides, which in turn indicates the mode of linkage, also the ring size of the individual monosaccharides. By this acidic hydrolysis, we can come to know that the mode of linkage means the alpha, beta or both, and also the ring size, whether it is pyranose or furanose. It is noted that once if there is a linkage in the polysaccharide, that is 1,6 linkage, it is almost resistant to the acid hydrolysis, and furanose ring undergo hydrolysis easily, but pyranose ring is difficult. And here I have given just a general hydrolysis structure, how it how the hydrolysis takes place. The hydrolysis will take place at the glycoacidic linkage to form a individual monosaccharide units. Next is the enzymatic hydrolysis. Enzymes are capable of removing one or more sugar residues starting from the reducing end of the polysaccharide is identified. Means on the reducing side they cleave the sugar units. So by giving a individual sugar unit of a polysaccharide. By this, the enzyme involved in hydrolysis are beta glucanes or endoglucanes, exoglucanase, cellulase and so on. Here I have shown that one of the polysaccharide I have taken, and that on enzyme hydrolysis it gave glucose and fructose. Means here this polysaccharide consisting of different monosaccharide units, that is glucose and fructose. Next is acetylolysis. Polysaccharides on treating with acetic anhydride and sulfuric acid, acetylolysis takes readily to 1,6 linkage in addition to other linkages. Means acetylolysis, if we carry an acetylolysis, if there is a linkage of 1,6 linkage between the sugar units, then in that part it undergo acetylolysis easily. Here the acetylolysis provide information regarding monosaccharide composition of polysaccharide and to a certain extent may indicate the position of the glycoacidic linkage. The degradation product indicates the substitution position. Means the final product which we have get after acetylysis will indicates the position indicates the glycoacidic linkage position. Next, methylation. Here, to know the ring structure, we can come to know the ring size of the monosaccharide unit. We do methylation method and also per iodic method. In these both method, we can find out the ring size. Polysaccharides on adding barium oxide and methyl iodide to a solution of polysaccharide in a dimethyl sulfoxide at 20 degree, the methylated product was subjected, you get the methylation takes place to a polysaccharide, and this methylated product was subjected to infrared spectroscopy, gives the information about the presence of methyl group and the absence of hydroxyl group, and also help in deciding the configuration of the glycoacidic linkage. Means by using the infrared spectroscopy to identify the methylation product, if in the polysaccharide there will be an hydroxyl groups. When we do the methylation, that hydroxyl group will be converted into acetyl groups. This so that in the infrared spectroscopy, the functional group, that is the methyl group, will be given peak by, and the after methylation, the OH will be absent. So the absence of hydroxyl groups can be decided, and so that it gives the complete methylated polysaccharides are gives the where there is a methyl groups are present in the polysaccharide unit. Okay. On complete methylated polysaccharides are then hydrolyzed and further oxidized to know the ring size and the point of linkage by identifying the final product. Means in this methylation product, after the methylation we followed methylation, we do the hydrolysis. On hydrolysis, we can come to know it gives an acids. By identifying the final product, it gives the ring size and the point of linkage. And here is a chart reaction how the methylation takes place at the OH groups, and after this methylated products was undergo acetylation or hydrolysis or via oxidation, we can get the final products. These final products are identified by spectroscopic studies. And next is the periodic oxidation method or Smith degradation. This method also gives the information about the ring size and also the linkage. The mode of linkage in the di and polysaccharide are established in this method. It gives the different products in 1,3 linkage, 1,4 linkage and 1,6 linkage. Means where the linkages is present, the oxidation takes place at the linked position, so that it gives different products on different linkages. The oxidation of polysaccharide molecule followed by reduction and acid hydrolysis to give a fragments that indicates the mode of linkage present in the original polysaccharide. Okay, in the below reaction, it shows that on treating with an sodium periodate, it gives an aldehyde, and this on further treating with a sodium borohydride, a reducing agent, the aldehyde group is reduced to alcoholic group, and this on further hydrolysis, it gives a different products. All these different products are depends upon the linkages. If there is a 1,3 linkage, it gives different type of product. compared to 1,4 linkage and 1,6 linkage. And next is the molecular weight. The molecular weight determination gives the information about the total number of monosaccharide units present in the original polysaccharide molecule. And this molecular weight is mostly described in the statistic way, such as in number average molecular weight, weight average molecular weight, and zeta average molecular weight. And we shall know about the molecular weight by estimating the number average molecular weight, that is Mn, and is defined as the weight of the sample divided by the total number of molecules present in the mixture. That is Mn is equal to weight by N. Mn is equal to N1 M1 plus N2 M2 plus and so on, where N1 is the number of molecules of a molecular weight M1 and N2 the number of molecules of molecular weight M2. And the chemical and physical methods are used to find the molecular weight. Next is the linear and branched structure. As I said that the polysaccharides are having linear or branched structure with the glycoacidic linkages. These linear polysaccharides with highly regular conformation and then forms crystalline or partial crystalline structure and are mostly insoluble in water, while branching structure could increase the solubility for the two reasons. Here the linear and branched structures are found out by their solubility. The linear polysaccharides are difficult to soluble in water, whereas the branched structures are partially or completely soluble in water because of the two reasons. That is, the branching structure would weaken the intramolecular interaction due to the steric effect, which prevents the intermolecular association. And next is the highly branched structure would also decrease the excluded volume when compared to polysaccharide with the same molecular weight, which potentially increases the critical concentration and therefore improves the water solubility of a polysaccharides. And next, as I said, the instruments which are used to, or the methods which are used to identify the physical or chemical structure of a final product to know the polysaccharide units. That is, one is the infrared spectroscopy. Here in this spectroscopy, the monosaccharide configuration and the substituent units can be identified. In mass spectroscopy, the sugar linkage type, monosaccharide configuration, substituent units, degree of branching and molecular weight can be determined. In NMR spectroscopy, that is nuclear magnetic resonance, the sugar linkage type, monosaccharide configuration, substituent units and degree of branching can be identified. And next is high performance liquid chromatography, that is HPLC. In these, polysaccharide samples are hydrolyzed by the methods HCl, methanol and TFA, then analyzed by HPLC or gas chromatography. Next is gas chromatography or mass spectroscopy, in continuation with mass spectroscopy. In this, the periodic oxidation and Smith degradation and methylation analysis can be done. And this completes the structural elucidation of polysaccharides. Thank you. If you like this video, please give a like, and if you have any doubts, comment in a comment box. Thank you.